Good evening, guys. Good evening to all the beautiful people who to be today here. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. Here she is, says Martin, and thank you so much. Greetings, Francois. And I'm really happy that you managed to join me today on Sunday. Sunday is not our typical day, but I had a very busy evening yesterday. And I will tell you a little bit more about that maybe. And I'm really happy to see you today. I am protected by super moderators and friends, Martin, Philip, Spencer, Rudy, and Michael, who's doing an amazing job on Discord, and so many good people here. So actually, it's not me who is protected, but we are all protected by them so that Russian trolls do not distract us from serious and important conversations. Thank you so much for joining. And Karen says that Sunday is a good day. Thank you so much. Greetings to the Netherlands. Guys, let me know what is the weather like in your oblasts, because what we have in Lutsk is awful. We have snow. We had like a very long period of time when it was already greetings, Iman, greetings, Yoda. Uh, where is my cat hoodie? You can see it in the back in the wardrobe. Greetings to New York. So we have snow, and we had like on Friday, we had like plus 17, plus 18 Celsius, which is really warm. And then I read this weather forecast that says that it's going to be cold and these bad Arctic masses of air are shaping above Moscow region. And you know, my first thoughts, okay, nothing normal can shape above Moscow region. And we have trees in blossom. And we have snow and these apricot trees, sweet cherries, all in blossom. So perhaps we will not have a lot of apricots this summer. I don't know how about you, but it often happens in Ukraine during this period when trees are in bloom, that some frosts bite for a very short period of time. Those of you who think that Ukraine is very cold, no, I'd say we are just like very European, typical kind of weather. And it's not okay for us to have snow in April, but it happens sometimes for a very short period. I've heard something similar, maybe in Germany, maybe in Poland. And whoa. And greetings, Nail, and thank you so much. Don't forget to press the like button, Nail says, and I repeat. So it's not sunny, it's cold, it's windy, and I can tell you, I feel like I've got a cold yesterday. So I did not catch any colds, during winter. And by the way, it's very typical for me. I don't know how about you. When the seasons change, it's specifically in spring, I often catch a cold. So thank you for your good wishes. And I think I will drink some tea or maybe hot wine after that. Thank you so much. And let's stay warm, and maybe greetings to Portugal, Carlos. Happy to see you. So maybe just brief information, like you know that apart from my YouTube, apart from my academic and writing tasks, I also have an NGO that deals with cultural heritage digitization and popularization, and we have a number of projects supported by Creative Europe program. Maybe some of you know that and support that. But I need to quote Spencer, who says, stand in solidarity with the penguins. That's exactly what we do here. Greetings, Pat. You're just on time. And, it is really, really interesting. And one of the projects we had was Poland, Lithuania, Greece. And yesterday it was just like a presentation of some results of that project. and our friends and partners from Lithuania came, and they came for the first time since the start of war. And I felt my like personal responsibility so that everything goes right. Lutsk is semi-safe, but the preparation was important, and we have a really good meeting, in the castle. And I was like working a lot, and that's why I could not meet with you yesterday. But you know what is interesting? Um, those friends from Lithuania told me that many people feel like maybe it's around traveling to Ukraine that people feel bad about those who come to Ukraine during wartime, like observers or something, but they received a very different feeling that Ukrainians are very happy to see people who support them, who actually want to see more. And I hope it was a good stay. Remember to like this video, and I am really happy to see so many of you. And I think that I want to start talking about the topic of our conversation, and that is the fears and why Putin actually does not want the end of this war. Because it's important for the understanding and why any like one of the questions that I received even from that Lithuanian friends, and Lithuanians know a lot about Russia. Do we expect that a ceasefire will come soon, or can we influence Trump that he can help us or something? And my answer was no, 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 and no. This morning, this night, we had a very severe attack on Ukraine. A lot of missiles, a lot of drones, which is definitely not a demonstration of a ceasefire or the desire to negotiate, even. What is bad is that Russians modify missiles, and many of them cannot be properly caught by this Patriot systems, for example, even. And I'm happy that more and more Ukrainians are talking about the need to develop or upgrade such systems in Ukraine, because during this years of war, it's not only us who learn, but it's also unfortunately Russians who learn. And they learn, like drones, for example, they evolve tremendously, starting from this very first drones that were used back at the start of the invasion. The ones that both Russian and Ukrainian armies use now are very different, and uh, they are fighting really hard, but they are using like this very complex technologies. Mostly Russians steal ideas from Ukrainians, but then they multiply them. Russia invests a lot of money in war production. And for example, this fiber optics. Yesterday, I saw a photo that demonstrates a lot of fiber optic, this like stuff on the fields of Ukraine, and that was quite ugly because it's also bad for nature, but that's the reality of war. And they modify their missiles so that Ukrainian air defense, NATO air defense, European air defense cannot catch these missiles, intercept them. And that is why it's so important to constantly develop the systems, to constantly improve the systems, and also to stay in contact with Ukrainians, because this war started with a little bit of arrogance from our NATO partners who believed they are like not 100% prepared for any confrontation with Russia, but just like 10,000%. Thank you so much, Finbo, for the sponsorship and the support of our community. But the reality turned out to be very different. And 3 years of war, that is a huge experience. And I do not hear that often on the news, on this like open diplomatic and political conversations, but Ukrainian soldiers, they report that more and more of NATO trainers come to Ukraine or want to meet Ukrainian soldiers abroad where the trainings take place. Not that much to train Ukrainian soldiers as to learn from the Ukrainian soldiers. And they want to learn to fly drones. They want to learn to improve some techniques taking into account modern realities. And that is super important because thinking that, like, oh, we know everything, we have better equipment. I don't know if you have noticed that right now Russians and I think Ukrainian soldiers too on the front lines very often like defend their cars with specific nets that protect from that protect from the attacks of drones. And that's something people who drive Bradley did not think would be ever needed. And the war and the way it develops is very often unpredictable, and it cannot go as it was like written in a book or something. Thank you so much. Barely noticeable. Thank you for the support. And that is why a lot of things, they need to be improved, they need to be changed, they need to be upgraded, updated. But do we notice this escalation of the Russian attacks since the start? I'm sorry, I've told you I've got a cold. So do we notice any escalation? Yes, we do. And that is for sure a demonstration that Russia does not want a ceasefire. I will ask you this question. It's actually interesting for me. What do you think about that? But a number of drone attacks, a number of missile attacks is really high right now. And in the morning, they have targeted a TV station, URTV English. I'm sure you have seen me there. And I was once interviewed in their studio. Quite often we do it online. But it's actually not the first time that they target URTV English. It happened like a month ago, and the destruction was minor, but they had to move from that location to another studio, and they did it. And right now, it came to this very TV channel, and it was very destroyed, way more than it was the previous time. Thank you so much, Bruce. And hopefully, hopefully, actually, thank God, people were not there. It was very early in the morning. But this is a demonstration of how much they are afraid of the truth, of how much they want to destroy any information coming from Ukraine. They want to manipulate people's opinions, and they I don't know, people are asking for that, but URTV English, if my moderators can help and send the link, it was not the first time, like many of you actually watch it. Thank you so much, someone, for buying me coffees. I will I will make tea out of that. Some warm tea. So it is important to support this pro-Ukrainian voices, and I'm always grateful when you share people you like watching, or you share channels that you like watching. I'm never jealous. And actually, it's a kind of very clean, very healthy atmosphere that exists between pro-Ukrainian voices, where we actually support each other and we want each other to be more watched, to be more supported, to be more respected. And I see, yeah, Rudy has just shared the link of URTV English. Thank you so much, Mr. Nobody. Thank you. And yeah, Yuli is there and Pavlo is there, and they are really good people. And just think about, these people, I have been to the studio and they target places like that. And any moment you can disappear just because you are Ukrainian and because Russians are crazy. Russians are crazy and they keep attacking Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. I shared that on X. I shared that on Threads. I did not record a video, separate video, because YouTube blocks such things. But it is super important to remember that this attack on Kryvyi Rih recently resulted in 9 children killed. And actually, this is the deadliest attack on children, the most children lives lost in the start of the full-scale invasion. So do we see any signs of negotiations, any signs of a ceasefire? Of course not. That is a very vivid demonstration. They want to destroy Ukraine. And thank you so much for your support. Guys, I know some of you are quite aggressive towards my presence on X, but I am there not to look for friends. I am there to share Ukrainian perspective. And I have to tell you, I know that the algorithms are broken. I don't read the comments a lot I receive there. But first, I hope one day Musk will lose control over X and maybe it will be back to Twitter. And second, for example, after the Oval Office ambush, I had like 2,000 people subscribing. There are still people who support Ukraine and who need to get some information that they can share. I'm not saying I enjoy that. Trust me, I may receive bad comments even here on YouTube, which is quite a kind community and we stand strong and I have the best moderators. But it is also very important to understand that we have to be like realistic. We have to see the reality from different angles. And Martin Anderson is sharing Discord, and I encourage you to join Discord. So thank you so much, and sure, you may find me on Blue Sky too and Instagram. I don't know what happened, but during these days I have like more and more people joining, so perhaps I will share more of everyday life there, like hundreds a day, which is always good. And of course, I encourage you to subscribe to my new channel. Thank you so much to Balkane. Oh my God, that's a lot of support. Thank you so much, so much, and cheers to that. Greetings to South Africa. Yeah, and Jens has just reminded that the video, The Sounds of War, it was a video I wanted to make a lot. It was not that easy, and I had to ask my digital advisor to help me with some editing. He connected the sounds, and some of the sounds he actually recorded himself because he's from Kharkiv, and Kharkiv is often targeted. And I will ask you to share this video link, my dear friends. I hope you won't be angry at me, my troll hunters. You still have time for that, but I think it's super important because I did not manage to find a lot of such videos online, and it was just like the sounds of war. And you can hear an air raid alert working there at night and during the day. You can hear the air defense working, drones flying, and also the explosion of a ballistic missile. And all of that was recorded like by us, some by me, some once again by my digital advisor who's taking control of the security of the channel, and he also the one who designed these beautiful thumbnails, and he is from Kharkiv. So all of that, just like in every Ukrainian, what you have to understand Every Ukrainian has a lot of such recordings on a phone, even when he or she lives in a semi safe zone like me. So, if people want to know the reality of war, not from this soldier's perspective, but from a civilian perspective, and something that can actually reach anyone, I advise you to subscribe to the channel and share these videos. They are not, I hope they are not frightening, they are not demotivating. I don't want to keep them negative because I love you, and my task is to make you feel stronger. Um, uh, uh, and it's just like a mission. I want the channel to demonstrate you. Thank you so much, Rudy, that you can live even in the times of the big war, and there are things you should know to survive, to keep safe, to be safe. But people live, people eat, people dream, people travel, people fight, people, and there are a lot of details that change, and at the same time you start treating them as normal. And for example, an air raid alert that interrupts my day is nothing new, but for many people that can be a cause of trouble, anger. And the same about the sounds, like an air raid alert. I had one today in the morning. I often travel to Kyiv, and on my telephone I have a digital Kyiv, which is an application, and there they have way more air raid alerts. So please watch the video and share the video. And Scott reminds us that we need more likes because we have 900 people watching, and we can have 900 likes support, taking into account that Russia hates the truth and YouTube, Ukrainian TV channel share the truth. We need your support. So let's return back to the topic, and that is why Putin fears peace. Thank you so much, Dan. And I want to ask you a question, that why do you think Putin agreed or pretends to agree on these negotiations when it is quite obvious that he continues targeting Ukrainian civilian infrastructure? He killed 9 children in Kryvyi Rih. Let's be realistic. Uh, so, how do you think? Why did he agree? What is the reason of this fact that he says, okay, let's negotiate? He definitely openly ignores anything, but he's using that. So, time placating Trump, buying more time for Trump's ego. It's only to win time. I'm so happy that all of you realize exactly what we are thinking here in Ukraine. So, of course, the main thing is he tries to get more time for himself. And I think that he's trying to avoid justice. But unfortunately, at this moment, I see that only Ukraine, thank you so much, Finbo, that only Ukraine is prepared to deliver justice, to serve justice to Putin, because the rest of people are looking for the options to pretend that nothing is happening. Thank you so much, Pat, for buying me coffee and a sip in your honor. So, um, first of all, you are right. Putin wants more time. But what is worse, he believes that, thank you so much, and greetings, Eric, smoke and mirrors to confuse. Yes. Well, first of all, he wants time. And he thinks that actually, with the level of Trump's ignorance, with the level of Trump's unprofessionalism in negotiations, this time can be actually very long. And while they keep talking, they'll keep traveling Moscow, Washington. They keep promising something. What Trump does, he brings Putin back into this global politics, into this global diplomacy. We all remember how before the inauguration of Donald Trump, it was not okay to consider talking with Putin after all the war crimes and literal genocide that he organized in Ukraine. And then, out of the blue, it is okay to talk with him. It is okay to call him. It is okay to look for his opinion. And what I hate most is when Witkov, who was an envoy for the Middle East, then he switched to Ukraine. Thank you so much, Kert. He speaks that I have no problems with Putin. For me, Putin is a good man because he prayed, for Trump or something like that. Putin is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Ukrainian children, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian people. And obviously, by saying that he is good, it's just the same as saying that Hitler was good. It's unacceptable. And every person in Ukraine who hears that loses any trust in the negotiations process. That is literally impossible. How can you trust if a negotiator is not just trying to find the justice or is not being neutral as they claim, but openly says that I like the leadership qualities. Putin is a good president. No, Putin is a war criminal. But thank you so much, Dave. Thank you. You are all making the community stronger. Thank you. Another very important thing that we should not forget is that by keeping talks open, exchanging telephone calls with Donald Trump, Putin makes to some extent Donald Trump a collaborator because just imagine how we feel in Ukraine or how we feel in Europe when Trump says everything is under control, the negotiations go perfectly. JD Vance saying we are really close to the end of this war. And we hear these explosions. We see the destruction that Russian missiles bring every day. We know they destroyed the TV channel. We know they killed 9 children on a playground in Kryvyi Rih. By the way, Kryvyi Rih is a hometown of Zelensky. It does not have any military strategic value. The only reason why Putin keeps targeting it is to just like demoralize people, to make them dissatisfied, to make them angry on Zelensky and so on. It's not the way Ukrainian thinks. It's not the way Ukrainian act, but this is just a kind of terror. And that is like we see that, we realize that, and when we understand that at this moment, thank you so much, Oms, Trump is prepared to shake hands, to shake hands with. Can you see me well? Is everything okay? Because. Okay. But okay, because I have received this question from my moderators. They don't see me or hear me, but all of you. Okay, thank you. And it is super important to understand that if all of that happens in the context of negotiations, that Trump is a collaborator with Putin at this moment. A very strong reaction was to the comment of the ambassador of the United States to Ukraine when after the attack. She said like missiles took Ukrainian lives and so on. And people actually were surprised to see that there is no blame on Russia. And this just like missiles as if it was, I don't know, a meteorite. This is not an accident. This is Russian weapons coming for Ukrainian children. And later she had to react. She had to change her post, but that's the way people feel. We may feel betrayed, we may feel negative, and I think it's a part of Putin's plan. Even if we, for example, do not think that, you know, Trump is Agent Krasnov, he's working for Putin, or they have some secret information of him. Even if he's just like that's his style, he believes he can negotiate and so on, this does not look good in such atmosphere. And I think that is a plan of Putin to spoil the, like, to legitimize himself, to demonstrate that in the context of war crimes he's still negotiable, he is still present in the politics, people call him, people want to talk with him, American delegations travel to the Kremlin, so they want to demonstrate it's just like okay for them. And another very important thing is that thank you so much, Ken, for buying me coffee and for your support. Thank you so much, Dan. And so that's the plan, like to spoil, I don't know how to say that, like the image of Trump, and to return back to this global politics, and just like to make people forget about all the war crimes that not only took place in the last, but actually happen as these negotiations continue. So that is a plan. And even if, for example, at a certain moment of time, Donald Trump will realize that Putin is using him, that it's bad for his political image, it may be too late. They may be for too long together. And by the way, this thing with tariffs is also the same. Why did he impose tariffs on penguins and did not impose on Russians? Thank you so much, Matthew. Ukraine. So he did impose tariffs on. Thank you so much, Rudy, for buying me coffee. And Rudy, another Rudy invites people to join the channel. That is my civilian perspective. Do subscribe. It's different. So, do a question, Anna, do you think European peacekeepers without the US is possible? I think yes. I think in the months to come we will see that the United States, and here I don't mean the people of the United States, but the White House will not want to be very involved with NATO, and they will keep demonstrating that. I know Rubio recently confirmed that no one wants to withdraw from NATO, but honestly, these are just words. If you look at the actions, if you look at how they treat the information, I think that soon people will want them like to withdraw, taking into account this like Signal Gate scandal. Oh my God, that is huge. And I think Europe understands that. And I do think there are already nations prepared to send their peacekeepers. Of course, they will not travel to the front lines, they will not fight instead of the Ukrainian soldiers, but they can perform a lot of things like training, like logistics, like border control. Come on, it's pretty safe in my region. You see, I am able to work, I have electricity and internet. And we do have soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, who now stand on the Belarus border, or they could substitute them. So I think that like I do see that Rubio has a hard time, and I believe he's not um, comfortable about a lot of things he has to say. Thank you so much, Gary. Greetings to Canada. I believe he had to break a lot of his principles, and that is really bad because there are a lot of videos of Rubio saying one thing and blaming Russia for the violation of the Budapest Memorandum and lack support of the United States, and then saying just the country. So that is interesting. Thank you so much, Frank, and thank you so much, William, and someone. So that is interesting, and I hope that slowly, maybe with just like, you know, sometimes they say we are prepared to send 3,000 peacekeepers to Ukraine from the European Union, or something like that. Thank you so much, Wendell. Thank you so much, Wendell. And I am okay if this will be a small number, because that's just the start. And also, I realize that these people should not be involved in combat operations at this moment, but they should also prepare themselves. And by the way, getting this experience for the professional military man could be super valuable, because if you'd ask me, do I think Putin can attack the Baltics? Yes. Can he test, I don't know, Poland or Romania? Yes. Can he provoke Germany? Yes. Yes to all of these questions. They don't seem to me that unrealistic as it was, let's say, 2 years ago. And actually, this very unusual behavior of Trump is a part of Putin's belief in his success. Thank you so much, someone, for buying me coffee. So I had a question: did I consider joining army during these 3 years of war? No. I have to tell you that if time comes and they will conscript women on this like basis as they do with men, I would not escape from my country and I would definitely join the army. There was a moment when I thought about that, and I, of course, felt nervous because it means like you don't live in your home, you change everything, and you won't be vlogging, and you won't be doing like your life changes tremendously. And I thought, what would be the most important thing for me to like to feel better about this tremendous change in my life? And I thought it would be important to do something that is connected with what I do best, because there are lots of things that I'm really bad at and things that I'm good at. For example, even my mom used to laugh on that. I'm really bad at like handicraft, at the things that you do with your hands, like sewing. I'm always in blood when I'm sewing a button. I'm good like at cooking, I'm good at cleaning, but I'm so bad when I have to sew something, or uh, it's just a disaster for me. And yeah, and a wonderful singer, yeah, just like that. So I know that, for example, if I had to do something manually, I might be a disaster. And if it is something connected, I don't know, with training, with the languages, with something like that, for sure. Can I become a pilot? I doubt. I'm a pretty middle-aged lady that does not drive a car. So I do believe it is. Martin, can you post a Discord link again? We have people asking for that, and I hope more will join our amazing community that has a specific. I'm sorry if there are problems with the connection. Mm, I am sorry if there is a problem with connection. It may be internet or something like that. So I am not the kind of person, that feels like I am a super soldier. I know such women, and I'm very proud of them. And also, what is very important, what many people forget about, is that right now women are not conscripted to the Ukrainian army unless they volunteer, because the army does not need them at the moment. Um, what is the greatest demand in the army? The greatest demand in the army is infantry. Infantry. And infantry, thank you so much, Finbo. Thank you. That is just like super great this evening. Thank you. And infantry is that actually wins the wars. We have to be realistic. Of course, a lot of people want to be super agents, spies, pilots, drones operators, but the greatest demand, of course, is infantry. And in infantry, you have to be able to carry a lot of things. And sometimes these are like 20, 25 kilos, and you have to walk to the positions. And one of the reasons why even General Zaluzny spoke about this no need for women in the army is that they cannot perform a lot of physical things the way men do. And I am, like, from one point of view, I don't know how to describe my this like attitudes towards the differences between men and women. And I feel that, like, in Ukrainian society, the attitudes are very healthy, without this gender hatred. And we have always had, thank you so much, Marcos, we have always had strong women. But I am the one who also sees the difference, the physical difference. And for example, thank you so much, Duncan, there are a lot of things that women do better and a lot of things that men do better. And for example, multitasking. I believe men cannot do multitasking really well. And I've observed that in a lot of projects, that I'm okay with doing this, and that. And men cannot. But there are also things that only like men do way better than women do. So if the war gets really bad and they conscript women, or my region is under attack, then sure, I will join the army. But to volunteer, no, I believe that I'm doing a lot of things useful in the informational sphere. And that's what I'm doing. What I guarantee you I would never accept is like being passive, or pretending that nothing is happening, or not doing my vlogs, or not living in Ukraine. This is something that I cannot accept. For me, it is super important to be here, to work here, to inform you, to work on some disinformation, debunking, like fighting Russian narratives, making people stronger. So that is my task. I hope I have answered the question. And I know that, thank you so much, Paul, and thank you, people, for joining my Patreon. You're helping film more. And once again, I'm reminding you about this new channel where I share more of my everyday civilian life. And also, we have a new drop in our merch shop about spring, about Easter. And if you're looking for some good reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, or some good Easter presents, do check that. Thank you so much. I know you're kind people, and you say that I'm doing enough. I never equate work in this informational sphere with what people do on the front lines. These are very different things. We are keeping the rear, and they are on the front lines. But I think you have to correspond to the demands of, once again, I know that right now for my country, I'm more useful here than, I don't know, doing something different. I don't know how to read your avatar. It's beautiful, but thank you so much for the support of the community. Thank you so much. Yeah, I actually think about the development of the information warfare course from my academic background, because there are so many courses about this informational literacy, media literacy, but that is very wrong, and that is very different, because media literacy is something that everyone needs. Children at school, grandparents at homes, just like not to make a mistake, not to get scammed. By the way, oh, Martin knows how, Hero Ghana. Thank you so much. If you know how to read it, thank you, Hero Ghana. But that was Martin's idea. If I did something wrong, Martin is to blame. And I'm joking. So thank you so much. And there are a lot of things that people still want to keep very, very positive, and like this media literacy, let's be careful, debunk Russian myths, but we have to be realistic. Real informational warfare is taking place. There are a lot of not just open cyber hacker attacks on your countries, on France, on Germany, on the United States, on Canada, on South Africa, but there are also a lot of things they do in disguise, the way they I don't know, by some providers. There are lots of books that analyze how China leads its informational warfare, how Russia leads its informational warfare, and what it seems that here in Ukraine, we learn a lot, we see a lot, we see how that changes the attitudes of people, how that can influence a lot. And I believe that sharing this experience may be useful. But once again, I don't want to keep it in this peaceful media literacy domain. It's about the informational warfare. So that is one of the tasks that I put ahead of myself when I think about this usefulness or a mission that I could be useful. So once again, every Ukrainian, every normal Ukrainian, when waking up in the morning, ask this question: how can I be useful? I know there is a famous quote like, don't ask what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for a country. But that is exactly what you ask yourself if you want to survive in your country. I don't want to live in Russia. I don't want to live in the world where Russia rules, where people live according to this Russian attitudes, where you have to worship your leader and to compliment him constantly, even when he says total BS. And that's what we are fighting for. And in general, every Ukrainian feels way better and more like more dignity and so on. And there you can, keep that in mind. Uh, thank you so much. On my hoodie is Lesia Ukrainka, who is a famous Ukrainian writer, a feminist, and she is really, really cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for your continued support and friendship. And thank you, Raymond, for saying that everyone needs. So please share the videos. That's important. And I would like to support Spencer, who says, please say hi if you're supporting Ukraine from the United States. Well, the questions about the book, guys, it's not that easy. If you want to write a book, and mine has already like 70,000 words, just imagine that, and you want to sell it not on Amazon or personally, and you're working and you need illustrations and so on, that's a tough process, and I'm working on that. But you cannot, like, trust me, you don't want to read the book that is written and published in 2 months. You won't like it. But the process is positive, and I will sure keep you updated. And I hope it will be soon. Yes, thank you so much. But thank you for pushing me with these questions. You know, I'm a kind of student that needs like that. And I'm not, I have started Spanish lessons because that's like the language that I want to know. You know, my father was born in Argentina. I have family there. And I also feel like I know a little bit of this language. I have the feelings for this language, and I have a strict teacher, and she's like, why? And I like it because I'm a kind of a person that needs a strict teacher. I'm not the one whom you have like to applaud. She said, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you repeat that? And I feel like I need to be working hard. So podemos hablar español por otra manera. Thank you so much, Surrealist. And yeah, Pat says hi, so she supports us. And Larissa Petrovna Kosach Kvitka, yes, you are totally right, and that's her. She says, never give up. Роби, що хочеш. Who can translate me? Maybe Spencer. Who can translate me? Роби, що хочеш. In Ukrainian, it means do what you want. And let's bring a little bit of good things in this conversation. And my book is in English. And that is about this accident that took place this week recently when one of Putin's cars exploded. And it actually happened in uh, Moscow, very near the central FSB office, Lubyanka. And that is very symbolic because that's a place that belongs to FSB, and that is the place that like has its atmosphere. And those who know a bit about Putin's past, about FSB, KGB, they know it. No, it was not Tesla, but it could have been. And so that is the car that Putin used during the inauguration. So it's not ordinary. They were looking for some Russian cars that could be used to, represent Mother Russia. And that was the one. And I think that that led to very serious problems in Russia, and mainly all of Putin's doubles were frightened. By the way, I don't know what will they do if, for example, one of Russians of Putin's doubles will be killed, and people will see that. Um, what happens? Will they say that Putin resurrected the next day, or it was a wrong Putin, or we have so many Putins? No, no one was killed, but that is a great message. And once again, I think that all of these drone attacks, the explosions on Russian military objects, the explosions on the factories and oil refineries, on military air bases, and even near Aurus Sarmat, or Aurus, something like that. And even if it happens in the heart of Moscow, and you remember that in the end of the last year and the beginning of this, a lot of Russian war criminals were neutralized on the Russian side. And that is a very important message. That is yeah, Pat is right. They will say it's a fake and real Putin is alive. Actually, it's always awful to see how in these dictatorships, people quickly start believing lies. How quickly they pretend they don't see the reality, and they accept this distorted vision that people want. I actually read right now a new book by Peter Pomerantsev, How to Win an Information War. And it's about Sefton Delmer, who was the one to fight Nazi propaganda, but in a very dark way, creating an alternative propaganda. But he also observed very quickly how good people switched to the bad side when this aggressive leadership took over. And that is, yeah, I know you've read that book already. So it is interesting to see how, at the start of Hitler's regime, like 20% of people supported him. He was not taking over the majority. And somehow, quite quickly, he managed to frighten so many that they started repeating his evil. And that is another reason why I'm happy to see that when people don't like something, in the United States, in France, in Ukraine, they demonstrate it with protests. Of course, they have to be peaceful, they have to be respectful, but that's the democratic way to show you dislike the course of your president or of your parliament. That's what we constantly do in Ukraine. And that is one of the reasons why I know that dictatorship will not survive here. That is one of the reasons why Soviet Union wanted to destroy so many Ukrainians, because they felt this freedom-loving potential, the strengths. And that is why we had Orange Revolution, and that is why we had the Maidan Revolution of Dignity, because we saw something goes really wrong and we protested. Yeah, let's make 1,300 likes. 13 is a good number. Hola a España. Leo textos, escribo, hablo con mi profesor. So you see. Also, please, guys, when you watch my videos on the new channel, in the comments, I read all of them here. I read all of them here. Leave the ideas. What would you like to see next? What aspects of the civilian life are you interested in? And that would be really interesting. Because I love it when it inspires me, and so that, like, I'm not sharing just the things that I want to share, but I'm also answering your questions. I don't think that Ukraine has an equivalent of Fox News, and during wartime, all the TV channels are united in what is known as news marathon, so that just like you have all the same on all TV channels, apart from this entertainment one, but different studios tune in. For example, from 12 to 2, you have one studio talking, from 2 to 3, another, and so on. Yes, maybe 2 more questions and I will let you enjoy Sunday evening. And I will make myself some tea to return back to normal speaking. There are no people who post that Zelensky should end the war to stop the dying in Ukraine. There is literally no such people. And that is one of the reasons why Trump is angry that he cannot change Zelensky or anything. What you don't understand, with this kind of attitude, just stop the war and give Putin what he wants, the dying will not stop. We could have surrendered back in 2022. We didn't. And now, with all the skills and actually equipment and people that we have, no one will agree on that. You cannot imagine what happens to people on these temporarily occupied territories, how greatly they suffer. Oh, URTV said hello, and I was just talking about the need to support URTV. Kert, thank you so much. Maybe once again, people, I will ask you to share again this link so we support these brave people and this brave studio. They were targeted tonight, but they won't stop them. They won't stop us. And that is a proof that URTV English is working really good. Thank you so much, Pavlo. And thank you so much, all the URTV. They are here, and I'm really happy to see them here. And I'm also proud that we have these channels that developed greatly and grew stronger in times of the full-scale war. When Russians think they destroy us, they actually make us stronger. Unfortunately, at a very high price, but what is also important to understand, that there are no people who want to stop the dying this way by giving Putin what he wants. The dying will simply multiply. That is what happens on the occupied territories. That is what happened in the Soviet Union. You know, when Soviet Union and this Iron Curtain fell, the dying did not stop. It was Holodomor. It was millions of people repressed after Stalin. Ukrainian writer Stus was killed by the Soviet regime in 1986. In 1986, just 4 years before the collapse of the USSR. So Ukrainians don't want to end this war on Putin's terms, and that's exactly what they offer right now. Russia must be defeated and demilitarized. Nobody wants to pass on this, problems to the next generations of Ukrainians. And once again, what is important, and I love it, that's the quote of Zelensky. He said, if we did not surrender back in 2022, in February, when Russians were close to Kyiv, when we did not have people seeing the truth about Russia and Ukraine, when you did not know a lot about my country, when we literally did not have any allies, why would we do it now when we are much stronger, when people know us, support us? And even if Trump goes crazy, millions of Americans will stay with us. Millions of Europeans understand that the next target will be Europe. So, of course, no one wants to do that. I don't understand. Like, I think that one day Chechnya will become free, and that's it. And all the Russia will collapse. And I also think that you don't need to be afraid of that. That is a very natural process. Russia is an empire, but empires do not survive in 2022, in 2025, in the 21st century. And what we observe right now is this active, agonizing process of Russia. And they actually start dying when they began war against Ukraine, against Georgia back in 2008. And this weak reaction made them think they can continue, but they cannot. Thank you so much for all the good wishes and all of your kindness. And I have to tell you that the image, I have shown it 3 times. This is Lesia Ukrainka. Thank you so much, Trev. And this is Lesia Ukrainka. She is a famous poetess. Thank you so much, my beautiful people, for spending this evening with me. I feel like I need more hot tea to drink. I want to thank you for all the advice and kind words that you give. Remember to subscribe to UA TV English, and I hope we will have more projects together. They are really strong and they are really Ukrainian, I mean, like in spirit. Thank you for all the support, coffees, for becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel and making our community stronger. And I want to thank, of course, Rudy and Philip and Martin and Spencer and Michael for this amazing community that we have. Adam, greetings to Poland. We love you, and I'm blessed to know a lot of good people in your country. Thank you so much, Gary, for buying me coffees. Thank you so much, Francois, Woxpedia, Essa, Yoda. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for spending this evening with me. Join me on the new channel. It literally means a lot to me because I'm just like very true there. And it was just like I had so much work to do, but I felt like I wanted, and that's why I started it. So if you watch, if you subscribe, if you comment, you make me more confident in that project, and that's super important. Thank you. Thank you. And join me also on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. Discord community is amazing, and Martin has just dropped a link. And Carl, thank you so much. And give me the ideas of the next videos you want to watch. Don't worry, united we stand. I know the next months will be turbulent, but we are smart, we are strong, we are experienced, we respect each other, we have each other, we'll learn from each other. So they cannot stop us, no matter from the Kremlin, the White House, they are the past. And we are the present and the future. That's how we feel in Ukraine. It's not about arrogance, it's not about extreme confidence. It's about understanding of your mission and also understanding of this basic human values and relations that we all stand on. It's respect, it's love, it's understanding, it's the desire to know more about each other. We don't have a choice but to win. Thank you once again, and Slava Ukraini!